Good evening, everyone. We want to share with you briefly. I'm transitioning from APA 6th edition to the 7th edition, um, and this is with the Department of Advanced Studies, Leadership and Policy here at Morgan State University. Most of us, of course, have been using the 6th edition for the longest. We finally got used to it, but as of fall 2019, the American Psychological Association printed the 7th edition, and so we want to just take a few minutes to actually go over some of the changes that happened with the 7th edition. So I'm using Zoom for this presentation so that I can share with you um, some of the links and so that you'll be able to see some of the resources that I'm going to talk about briefly in this presentation. Now, topics to be covered: basics of APA versus MLA, APA in-text citations, APA 6th edition versus APA 7th edition, and then resources to assist with using APA. Now, the American Psychological Association actually published a very short video to begin the discussion about the changes in its newest edition. And so I am going to click on the link, and if the link doesn't work, then we'll just go ahead and click on the actual, for me to stop sharing the screen, and then we'll come back to it. But I want you to be able to see the video that the American Psychological Association produced, and it's about a 3-minute video. Okay, so let me stop it here. That was a quick video. We get it to behave. Well, that was a quick video on from the American Psychological Association. Just trying to tell you, I'll give you a little bit more information so that you don't fear using the seventh edition. Because a lot of times when we're used to using something, right? We're used to, and we finally gotten used to the sixth edition, and all of a sudden here comes the seventh, then we fear it. And so they made that little happy, if you will, presentation in which to tell all of us that, hey, we are here to guide you. There are a lot of people who have adapted the seventh edition, and you can too. And so let's move forward in the presentation. Now, there are, of course, a lot of people who like to use MLA, but we know that we use APA. So APA is the American Psychological Association, and then MLA is the Modern Languages Association. The MLA, the Modern Languages Association citation style, is normally used for writing classes, for your humanities classes, your communication classes. All the social sciences tend to use APA, which is American Psychological Association. So here's just if you can see all of it, it's just a quick little table to show you, and this is from Scribber, APA versus MLA. So just so you can see the difference. With in-text citations, APA will give you the last, so in parentheses, also known as parenthetical citations, will give you the author's last name, comma, the year of the material was published, comma, the letter P, period, the page number, and then in parentheses. For MLA, you will only use parentheses, the author's last name, space, and then the page number in parentheses. Then it tells you the title of the reference list. The last page of a paper that's written in the APA format is called references. The last page of a paper written in MLA is called works cited. For author name in the references, you would say the author's last name, Smith, comma, first initial of the first name, and that's what you would do for APA. For MLA, you will actually write out the author's full last name, comma, and the author's full first name. For the capitalization of source titles, citing sources, a quick guide for students. So if you go online to OWL Purdue, and I have it referenced at the end of this presentation, you will be able to see how to capitalize. Just in a nutshell, for APA, you capitalize the first word of the title. So if the title was the brown book, then you would capitalize but brown book would not be capitalized. If in MLA, you would capitalize so the capital T, the capital B for brown, and the capital B for book. For APA, if there is a colon that follows to give you more of a title, so the brown book, colon, a guide to drawing. Then for APA, it would be the brown book, so capital T for the brown book, colon, A. So the A would be capitalized, a guide for drawing. For MLA, you would capitalize the first letter of each word in that title. Then the title page. For APA, the title page is required. For MLA, no title page is required. For APA, the APA format requires a running head. You will use the paper title and page number. For MLA, you use author name and page number. It is not really called a running head, but it is a secondary header at the top right of the paper. Again, this information comes from Scribber. Now, this information is adapted from the publication manual of the American Psychological Association, the 2020 version, just so you can see. Again, they have not really made changes with the in-text or what we call the parenthetical citations. So, for example, if you had one author in a parenthetical citation, you would say parentheses Johnson, comma, 2020, if you didn't have a page number. If you had a page number, of course, it would be a parentheses Johnson, comma, 2020, comma, P period 77 parentheses. For the narrative citation example, which would come within the text, it would be Johnson, parentheses, 2020 in parentheses. So if you look here with this table, again, you can find it in the current APA manual on page 266, and you will see this information. This was adapted from this information on page 266 to show you how this has not changed. So again, 3 or more authors, you use ETAL, period, comma, just a footnote. Microsoft Office does try to correct this for you. Microsoft Office will think you're writing the name Al. So you have to be careful, and you always have to edit your works and catch little small things like that, because Microsoft will try to help you, and sometimes it hinders you. So this information, once again, really has not changed from the 6th edition. Again, this is now giving you some more information, like quote with author's name in text with designated page numbers. So this is what I was referencing a few minutes ago. So again, this information has not changed. If you recall how to do it from the 6th edition, it is also the same in the 7th edition. Now, we know that the cover of the book has changed, so you can see it here that the 6th edition was the blue cover that we were very used to, and now the 7th edition is multicolored. And so some overview of the major changes in APA 7 is the book references now omit the publisher location. So in the 6th edition, we had to decide what was the publication, where was it published? And we were told as a standard that we were to choose the location that was closest to us. So if you flip through a real book and the book said Toronto, New York, then you would choose New York, right? Because that was the location closest to us. Now, however, with the 7th edition, we no longer have to do that. Journal articles should always include an issue number. Many of us were already doing that with the 6th edition. Sources retrieved from databases are now referenced as print sources. Before, sometimes people were referencing them as online sources. So now with the 7th edition, they are referenced as print sources. Believe it or not, you can add up to 20 authors in a reference list instead of only 7. So that's a major change. Also, we know that social media is widely used today. And so they wanted to make sure with the APA 7th edition that they included different social media examples. So that means now that you have more information to help you to cite correctly, because they now add social media examples. Also, websites URLs omit the retrieved from or accessed from phrase, which we know we use with the 6th edition. Now, changes with citing books. Finally, we no longer, and again, I just mentioned this before, we no longer have to look for the geographical details of a published book, because with the newest edition, book and book chapter reference entries no longer require a publisher location. So here you have the 6th edition format, so you can see what they look like, if you will, side by side. And then you see the 7th. So here you have the book was written by S. King, so King, comma S, that's the first initial. And then it was written in 1986. And then the title of the book is called It. Y'all know that book. And in the 6th edition, we would have written New York, comma New York, which is New York, comma NY, for the publication information that gives us the geographical details, colon Viking Press. However, with the 7th edition, we no longer have to put the geographical details. So we only put the author's last name, comma, the first initial of the first name, period, the date that it was published, period, the title of the book, period, and then the publisher's name. For journal articles, according to APA 7th edition, all journal articles should include an issue number. Again, some of us we were doing this before, but now it is mandatory for the 7th edition. Before this edition, an issue number was only added if the journal paginated each issue starting with 1. Now, all issue numbers should be added unless the journal or database does not assign them at all. In that case, omit this element. So again, you can see this is a lot for me to read, but I want you just to look here for the APA 6th edition format. And if you notice, it has volume 5. But for the APA 7th format, we see volume 5, issue 1, so that you can see the difference between the two. Source from a database. Exclusively books and journal articles retrieved from research databases without DOI should be referenced as print sources. In the case a journal article was retrieved from either UpToDate, Cochrane, or ERIC, then these should be referenced along with their retrieval date or identification number. Now, there's more information I've posted here for you toward the end. There's some slides, and I give you the information how to go online and find this database information and references. So just so that you can see here, you see the first one is APA 6th edition style, and you see it's retrieved from, and you can see the website. And the 7th edition style, the website or the URL is not included. Authors. The rise of academic co-authorship is reflected in the new APA format, as APA 6th edition allowed 7 author names in a reference entry, while APA 7th edition now allows up to 20 names. Sources with 21 authors or more should list the first 19 names and an ellipsis, followed by the last author of the source. So for APA 6, I want you to see this has 13 authors, and this is how it is written. For APA 7th edition, look at this. You can actually write up to 19 names, and then if we had more than 19, then we would use the ellipses, the points of ellipsis, so that you can see the difference. Once again, we're using the APA format, so that's the author's last name, comma, and the initial of the first name. Again, social media, we now have it included. So APA 7th edition includes new examples of social media sites such as Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit. Remember, you all, you must cite. So even if you are having a conversation with someone, which technically will be an interview, you need to cite that. So the rule is, when in doubt, cite. So here, the APA 7th edition is giving you some information to help you cite social media sites. So for example, they show you a tweet, how a tweet is referenced in APA 7th edition format, because it was not in the 6th edition. And this is what the tweet would look like. So you see, it even has the hashtag there. And again, one thing about citation styles is that you do not need to be creative. All you need to do is follow the format. So that's the good thing about citation styles. So you can always look at an example and then follow that, and you know that you'll have done yours correctly. So the same format can be used to cite Facebook, Reddit, again, Instagram, Tumblr, and LinkedIn posts. And so it shows you here even how to do a Twitter profile. And the same can be used for a Facebook page or Instagram highlight. URLs. Finally, there are 2 updates in relation to URLs in APA 7th edition. The first one is omitting the wording retrieved from or accessed from before URL. The second one is the shortening of URLs in DOIs. DOIs can be shortened with the short DOI service provided by the International DOI Foundation, and URLs with any independent shortening service. Once again, at the end of this presentation, you will see the link for this website. So for example, a blog post in APA 6th edition style, this is what the URL will look like. But then to adapt it, the same reference in APA format, we're getting rid of retrieved from, and then we're actually shortening the URL if it is too long. So once again, you can go to the short DOI service and it will do that for you. Now, I recommend for you to visit the online writing lab at Purdue University. This website, which is hosted by their writing center, has been around since like 1995. It's one of the oldest online writing center labs, if you will. And most colleges and universities, like over these past 25 years, have given resources to the online writing lab at Purdue, handouts or whatever, because it has been a very helpful website, again, for at least 25 years. And so you can go online. They always keep the updated versions of these citation styles online. And so if you go online today at owl.purdue.edu, you will find the current version, which is the 7th edition version of APA. You can also find the current of MLA. If you need the 6th edition, for example, of APA, they even have a link there on the website to help you. They also have sample papers, so that you can see how to format your paper in APA format. And even if you need MLA format, you will also see that. So I recommend for you to visit the Online Writing Lab at Purdue. If you don't remember this link, you can always just Google OWL at Purdue APA and it will come up for you. Now, there are also free citation engines that will also help you until you get used to citing on your own. So I put here, one is the citationmachine.net, mybib.com, citefast.com. But again, you can do a quick Google, a quick search, and type in free citation engines, and you can come up and you will see what will come up for you. Now, I always tell my students, be mindful that, and you always want to check the citation. So even though it's a free citation engine, I know I always check it. I always go back to the book to check it to make sure it's correct. Because again, sometimes it is an online service, and sometimes there are glitches. But it will help you, and most times it is correct. But again, I just like, as I tell my students, just make sure to go back to edit and check. Before I talk about these resources, I also want to mention Microsoft Office. Microsoft Office has a reference section, and the reference section, depending on your version of Microsoft Office, it might already be updated to the current version of APA. So it's really great. And if I can share my screen with you, I'm not sure, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to share the Microsoft Office. But just know that Microsoft Office at the very top has references, and you can click on APA and see which edition your Microsoft Office has. Mine only has 6th edition, which is really why I didn't want to show it to you. So you might have a more updated version of Microsoft Office. And if so, you will look under references, the references tab, and you will see that it will help you also to cite, help you to put in place your in-text citations as well, and create your references page, all with using the guide that's literally right there in your Microsoft Office document. Now, these are some websites that you can use as resources. Again, the BibGurucom is an excellent reference, which I use to reference for this presentation. You can go to apastyle.apa.org. That's where you can find the APA database on references. The short DOI service that I was talking about, so that you can actually condense the long URLs correctly. You go to http:// shortdoi.org/. Then to find out more information about DOIs versus URLs, here is the link here for you using the apastyle.apa.org. And once again, you can go to owl.purdue to always to give you the free version of the current citation styles. Now, this is an excellent link that shows both the 6th and 7th edition. This comes from BibGuru.com. And so on BibGuru.com, this is the link. You're going to find what I have put here for you. You're going to find actually the 6th edition and the 7th edition of how to do this. So, for example, if you want to cite a book, you can click on how to cite a book, and you can see, you can, at the top of the page on the right, you will see 6th edition. Then, of course, you want to see 7th edition, you click on 7th edition, and it will show you how to do that. It's going to show you how to cite all of this for under the category of books. It's going to show you how to cite all of this under the category of computer programs, under the category of films, audio, and videos, which we have a whole lot more than we used to have. They even show you how to cite a YouTube video, a Netflix show, a podcast, even a brain pop video. For your newspaper and magazine articles, they show you how to cite a magazine article, again, side by side, so that you can see the 6th and the 7th edition. How to cite a newspaper article, reports, how to even cite a government report, how to cite an annual report. Also, it goes into even more information for you. It tries to cover everything. It shows you research articles, how to cite a journal article. These are the main ones that we need. How to cite an online journal article. Then it gives us a thesis, how to cite an honors thesis, how to cite an undergraduate thesis, how to cite a master's thesis, how to cite a PhD thesis, and how to cite a dissertation. And then finally, it gives us websites, how to cite a web page, how to cite a blog post, a Facebook page, Instagram post, a government website, and a Reddit post. So this is an excellent website for you to visit, www.bibguuru.com/guide/APA/excellent link. And again, it shows both the 6th and 7th edition. Please note that the tables that were shown on slides 5 to 6 came directly from the American Psychological Association. Was adapted from that from page 266. So this is the end of the presentation. I wish you happy writing. For more information, please actually see the current edition of the APA manual. And again, you can find it on various websites. I have posted the ISBN number for you. My name is Dr. McManus, and I hope that this presentation has helped to remove some of the fear of using APA 7th edition.